Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Julian Morris. In the headlines, climate financing challenges highlighted at OECS Sustainability Exhibition. Government hands over 200,000 fish vending facility to Fonkole fisherfolk. And Sargassum management high on the agenda at OECS Environmental Sustainability Meeting. The details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. Minister for the Environment, Honorable Kozia Frederick, who is the incoming chair of the OECS Council of Ministers for Environmental Sustainability, has highlighted the challenges faced by developing countries when it comes to unfulfilled pledges for climate financing. Honorable Frederick delivered the feature address at the 13th OECS Commission Environmental Sustainability Exhibition on Tuesday.
People seem to forget that in 2017, we were hit by a massive climate event. We seem to forget this. And we made a very ambitious decision to become the first climate resilient country. In so doing, we were able to, for the most part, build this resiliency on our own accord. Do it from our own resources, even while a number of commitments were given by international partners and the global society. Dominica, the island I'm proud to be part of. We build this on our own. And it is also a demonstration of our innovation. It is a living expression of our collective consciousness, our collective commitment to be, first and foremost, stewards of the environment, and in so doing, being custodians of a gift that is so precious.
Honorable Frederick said colonization itself has played a role in environmental degradation through the mass exploitation of resources.
A history that started very rugged, very rough. A history of colonization, of mass exploitation of resources. And so when we speak about climate change in 2026, I can argue that climate change really began when the first invaders came to the lands and cut down trees and to do an economy. Cut down mangroves, destroy the biodiversity. That's why it all began. So it began more than 500 years ago. And I say this because my people, the people I'm proud to be part of, Kainago warriors, who own these lands. And we live on this land in a time of abundance, where we lived in tune with nature, that we never took more than what we wanted. And we never saw resources as something to be exploited for financial gains. And so, at this point of history, we have seen massive biodiversity loss all across the region. As small island states of the OECS, we continue to confront all of these issues that are not of our making. We are inherited something that we had no control over, we had no part in. And so, for the OECS region, we have lived the experiences of climate change. And here in Dominica, we have faced this very deeply. We understand resilience because we live it every day. On April 26, a few weeks ago, the eastern part of the country was hit by a major event. In our own lifetime. An event that we had no control over. And massive destruction to farmlands and dwelling homes. And it is important to take note of this, because there's a certain level of arrogance and a condescending approach that is being dealt to us by developed countries, speaking to us in a tone as if we do not know how to survive in our own space. And so for us today, friends, comrades, an exhibition like this is so important, because within these displays, we can see innovation, ideas turning into something positive, something that we can actually put into practice.
The exhibition is themed the OECS Collective Resolve, Innovative Pathways in a High-Risk Global Landscape.
Tonight's exhibition is more than a display of projects and products. It is a reflection of the region's commitment to resilience, sustainability, innovation, and collective environmental action. As the Commonwealth of Dominica prepares to assume chairmanship of the OECS Council of Ministers for Environmental Sustainability, we are honored to host this important gathering and to showcase the remarkable work being undertaken across our region by governments, communities, youth, entrepreneurs, and development partners. We are especially pleased to welcome our exhibitors, whose work demonstrates practical and inspiring approaches to environmental sustainability, climate resilience, biodiversity conservation, circular economy initiatives, renewable energy solutions, sustainable agriculture, ecotourism, and community innovation.
In his welcome remarks, Dr. Ernie Stapleton noted that the exhibition was a powerful reflection of the innovation, resilience, creativity, and sheer determination that define OECS member states, as well as their regional and international partners.
Within this space, you will see the practical ground level work being undertaken to advance climate resilience and sustainable energy, biodiversity conservation and ocean governance, sustainable livelihoods, and disaster risk reduction and comprehensive environmental stewardship across our region. Our theme this evening, as the chair of proceeding indicated, is the OECS Collective Resolve, Innovative Pathways in a High-Risk Global Landscape. And this theme presents a vital reminder. While our region faces undeniable environmental and economic vulnerabilities, we also possess an extraordinary capacity for innovation and collaboration. The exhibits on display tonight prove that sustainable solutions are not just abstract ideas. They are actively emerging from our communities, our institutions, our youth, our entrepreneurs, and our development partners.
Representing the French Embassy was Regional Consular for Cooperation and Cultural Affairs, Caribbean Region, Christine Bourgeois.
The contribution of the SARC project, implemented by Expertise France and financed by the French Development Agency, which is pleased to co-finance this exhibition. SARC supports Caribbean countries and regional institutions in improving regional cooperation, knowledge sharing, and strategic planning related to Sargassum management. I am especially pleased to see that the exhibition showcases several initiatives supported through French cooperation, including both SARC and REMAR project, developed in partnership with the OECS Commission. The presence this week of participants attending the SARC regional workshop on the development of national Sargassum strategic plans further strengthens the spirit of regional cooperation, and we hope that the exchanges taking place during the workshop organized by the SARC team, bonsoir à vous, chère équipe, merci, throughout the Council of Ministers environmental sustainability meetings contribute to building stronger national and regional responses to environmental challenges affecting us all in the Caribbean.
The Government of Dominica, through the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, has formally handed over a $200,000 fish vending facility and landing site to the fisherfolk of Foncolé. The project was funded through a loan secured by the Government of Dominica and is expected to improve food safety standards by making safer fish available to consumers. Honorable Julian Defoe serves as Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, with responsibility for fisheries and the blue economy.
So post-Hurricane Maria, the Government of Dominica contracted from the World Bank a loan of $66 million to invest and for the redevelopment of the agricultural sector. Of course, a lot of times people forget that the fisheries industry is part of the agriculture sector, so it is a subsector. And out of that, there was tremendous contribution. We saw the cash grant, we saw the rehabilitation, the construction of boats for fishers who would have lost their boats, and further to that, we saw the donation of engines to fishers who lost their engine. Over 108 engines was part of the first phase. The site where we are today, this intervention is by a follow-up additional component which we took post-COVID-19. So the government took some additional funds, which we call the CIRC Contingency Emergency Response component, where additional allocation was made for investments in the fisheries sector. So this time we concentrated on the rehabilitation at the landing site level to improve the food safety systems. So this may not be a huge facility as Roseau, and one may ask, why invest in Foncolé where we have a major fisheries infrastructure in Roseau? And my response would be, to preempt, says, why not? Because the idea is not to centralize things, but to keep the identity of fishermen and their customs and their culture. We all knew very well that Foncolé is a hotspot for people going to the north to stop and procure the fish. And we all remember the site, how it looked, and how the services was. So the idea of the government is never to relocate people. It is to enhance what they already have.
Honorable Defoe urged the fisher folk to properly manage and utilize the facility as intended.
I'm very happy knowing how the area was and seeing that this is an environment that is going to improve significantly the food safety, the standard of how we present service to our Dominican public. And today, I am sure operations will begin, and as soon as this handing over is over, I have heard already there are fishermen with their fish ready to come. So we are hoping that we have the government has taken much scarce resources and invested into this area. So we're hoping not to see too many of the old tables, by the roadside, diminishing the purpose for which we have given this facility. Okay, so when we pass, we would like to see people packed in strategic areas where they do not obstruct traffic and come into the facility. But for the facility to be functional, the fishers themselves have to encourage, their patrons to come into the facility, and they themselves do not position their tables in the door where the people are supposed to pass and closing people behind. Because, customs and cultures sometimes are hard to change. All right, so I have to upgrade this because the onus and the success of the facility, we can put in as the government the investment. We can provide the equipment that are necessary, but the use, the maintenance, the upkeep, and the success of the facility is in the hands of the fishers.
Fisher folk in Foncolé now have access to new storage facilities and upgraded fish landing sites. They have also been provided with protective gear and communication devices. The government of Dominica has additionally supplied 24 fishing vessels. The handing over of the new fish vending and landing site at Foncolé is part of government's efforts to take food safety to the next level. The facility will be managed by the Foncolé Fisheries Cooperative.
This is part of the government of Dominica policy direction to improve the fisheries sector by improving landing sites and vending areas. It is part of the government strategy to improve the food safety of these facilities. And so we're very happy that this magnificent building can be used to improve the vending situation in the Foncolé area.
The entire facility has been renovated in an effort to promote resilience in the industry.
On behalf of the residents of the community of Foncolé and all the fisher folks that would be using this facility, we would like to say thank you to the government of Dominica, particularly the Ministry of Fisheries, for making this a reality for us today. Too many times we have seen our fisher folks struggling with their little tables outside. Today we can see this beautiful facility is going to enhance the way that they present their products, even with regard to the general aesthetics of how it is their products is being sold. So we are very happy, and I urge the fishermen to take ownership, because it's handed to you all, to ensure that the building is maintained, the building is well taken care of. So once again, thank you very much for making this a reality.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. Climate change and climate resilience will be a major topic of discussion at the OECS Commission's 13th Council of Ministers Environmental Sustainability meeting. The meeting, currently being hosted in Dominica from May 27 to 28, is being held under the theme, The OECS Collective Resolve, Innovative Pathways in a High-Risk Global Landscape. The high-level meeting brings together ministers responsible for the environmental sustainability from across the OECS member states and associate members, alongside regional and international development partners, technical agencies, researchers, and environmental practitioners. Minister Frederick, who is also the chairman of the meeting, says small island developing states who are the most vulnerable to the effects of climate change must come up with ways to build resilience.
The theme is really crafted around innovation. How can we innovate in our small island states to battle the climate events? And in the exhibition over the on the next few days, we will see innovation from Dominica itself, how local citizens have invested their time and energy into creating local technologies that can assist in mitigation against the ever-changing climate events.
Sargassum management will also be a major topic of discussion during the meeting.
The Sargassum management is an issue that we face across the region, and even at our conference this year, the Martinique and Guadeloupe will be present, and they're doing a lot of work there as a French department, and we expect that some of the outcomes will affect us positively because, as I said, we are large ocean states, and something like Sargassum, just like solid waste, has no boundaries, and so we have to face this as a collective, because the currents, the natural winds that face our islands, all of this affect the movement of those things that affect us in a very profound way.
Honorable Frederick continues to emphasize that climate financing remains a critical aspect of small island developing states if they are to build resilience.
We have national goals, we have national priorities, but we realize all of these are hinged on the access to finance. And finance, we realize, is a promise at the global level to commit to billions of dollars for that sort of work. But what we find very difficult is our ability to access those loans and those grants, and importantly to the criteria and the time frame in which we have to work through to get access to those finances is very difficult. So one of the things we will be discussing in the course of the meeting is how do we get people to really understand the critical situation that we're in, and how we can make climate finance easily accessible to us.
And now your weather update. A high-pressure system is expected to result in a relatively dry atmosphere over the next 24 hours with occasionally breezy conditions. Occasionally cloudy skies with a few passing showers can be expected. As Saharan dust concentration increases, individuals with respiratory sensitivities should be on alert and take precautions to avoid complications. Sea conditions are forecast to be moderate over the next 24 hours, with wave heights near 5 feet along the western coast and 7 feet along the eastern coast. Small craft operators and seabathers are advised to remain cautious, particularly due to the expected reduction in visibility. Meanwhile, a tropical wave continues to move westward across the tropical Atlantic and is expected to pass well south of the island chain by tomorrow, Thursday. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Julian Morris. Thanks for watching.